Hello, and thank you all for joining us for our webinar with TxtaCheck. My name is Rod Kennedy. I'm with Comtech Systems, and with me I have Lacey Jensen of EFT Networks, and I'm going to start it off with Lacey.
Hello, guys. Thank you, Rod. As he said, my name is Lacey. I am with EFT Network, and we want to get together today to show you guys a brand new piece of technology. It can be used as an additional payment channel outside of ACH payments, outside of credit and debit card payments, and it can integrate directly with Collect. So TxtaCheck is a product that was developed by EFT Network. We've recently established a new partnership with Collect, and I'm going to go through and highlight a couple of reasons why this software is fairly dynamic and why this is a first of its kind and only of its kind piece of technology that you can utilize to accept actual check payments from consumers not present. And I'll kind of highlight the difference between an ACH payment and a remotely created check or a paper draft, and then what we have here with TxtaCheck as an actual check as regulated by the UCC. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get started here. First of all, I want to make sure that all of you guys take a look at the GoToWebinar box somewhere in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, or that GoToWebinar panel. You should have a question box that you can either type in or expand and type in. Feel free to enter any questions that you might have throughout this presentation, and at the end, Rod and I will take some time and make sure that we address all of those questions. All right. All right, an industry under attack. So again, I want to highlight a couple of issues as to why we developed TxtaCheck and how it applies to creditors and collection agencies. As we know, our industry is under strict scrutiny from all angles. We have the Attorney General, we have the CFPB breathing down our neck, new regs and proposed rules are coming out all the time. We have the enforcement actions that us as collection agencies are supposed to become familiar with, or sorry, the consent orders. We're supposed to become familiar with these, and we're supposed to use these as guidance as to how to conduct our business. We have consumer advocacy groups, and overall, financial institutions are feeling the pressure of the CFPB, and they're a little unsteady, they're a little nervous, and so in addition to the banking regulations that funnel down to us as creditors and collection agencies trying to process payments, we are now experiencing a lot of banking imposed rules and regulations. So I'll go through a couple of these. As we know, payments are regulated by several regulating bodies and rulemakers. One, Reg CC for all paper-based check items. We have the Electronic Funds Transfer Act, which affects anything that is an electronic funds transfer and or ACH. And what we hear a lot of talk about in this industry is Reg E, right? It's kind of the big hot word for any recurring ACH payments. We have NACHA, which is a regulating entity that regulates all ACH payments. Then we have the FTCPA. We know that in order to be compliant with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, that we have to be accepting payments in a compliant manner according to that payment channel as well. Then we have CFTC, and I'm going to cover a couple things here that you may not have heard about, and then the CFPB as well. So I won't really dig through the trenches in the Electronic Funds Transfer Act. We know that we need signatures in recurring payments or similar authentication in order to run those transactions. We have NACHA. Again, it regulates the any ACH payments that you're going to accept. The challenge here is that recently they've reduced their return rate threshold even more than it already is. For example, if you have 1 in 200 transactions, ACH transactions, come back as an unauthorized return, at the collection, your business is instantly at the threshold or exceeding the threshold for unauthorized returns that NACHA has set forth. 1 in 200 payments. That doesn't give you a lot of room for error, and then NACHA, as you reach that threshold, will ask that you work with your processor and you establish an effective strategy to reduce returns and put it in place. Only 30 days. We can't even measure an effective strategy within 30 days, right? So if there's not a lot of margin of error, it's something that we really want to pay attention to. So that's with our ACH payments. Well, there are a lot of collection agencies and collection agency softwares out there that support the process of remotely created drafts. I hope that you're all familiar with that concept. It's very similar to an ACH where you're accepting the payment and the funding details over the phone, but rather than creating an electronic debit to the account, what you would then do is print a check on check stock, and there's a little, on the signature line, it will say this check is printed on behalf of da-da-da, and you can take those to the bank. That is what we call a remotely created check or paper draft. One thing that this industry, its credit and collections, has not talking about much is that the FTC has recently banned the use of remotely created checks and paper drafts in another high-risk industry. It is not banned in the credit and collections industry yet, but banks have immediately taken action and started really kind of the Operation Choke Point effect. They started not accepting these payment types from the credit and collections industry, just guilty by association, right? And what we'll do is we'll work with collection agencies and creditors and say, whatever you do, I want you to stop taking remotely created checks now. I don't care if you process ACH transactions, but if you have a problem with returns or you need a return mitigation strategy, then we will bring in this product called TxtaCheck, which we are going to show you today. And overall, getting paid is simply an issue of speed and simplicity for the consumer. They don't understand why we need all these signatures. They don't understand why they have to sit on the phone and listen to the entire authorization script. All they want to do is make the payment and get off the phone. Go to your website, make the payment, and forget about it, right? We're in I call it a fast food nation. Everybody wants things quickly and simply. But because of all the regulation and compliance measures that we have to take, it's not as simple as it should be for a consumer. Again, this is something that TxtaCheck can bring to the table. So, introducing TxtaCheck. And it says here on the screen, this is not an ACH or a remotely created check, but when you accept payments from consumers as a, quote, TxtaCheck item, this will be a true paper check with a signature from your consumers on the check. It will be treated by your financial institution as a legally negotiable instrument that is regulated by the UCC, and they will honor this check payment. So as you know, there's not nearly the regulations surrounding paper checks, true paper checks, and so this is where TxtaCheck will save you in the cost to comply and in just general regulatory oversight. So With that, Rod is going to show how from the collect system, you have a consumer on the phone and they're ready to make a payment. That collector wants to take the payment from the consumer um, as a text-to-check item. And there will be a link within the collect software. Rod, did you want to show that?
Sure. Lacey's actually going to do the demonstration, but with regards to collect, I'll show you how it would look from your collectors. So your collectors are signed in. They'll be on their WIP list or on an account. And once they have the account open, you get them on the phone. You can click one of the buttons up here. We can pre-program them for you. So I've got the Visa MasterCard button programmed for this for the demonstration. You click on it, and it will open up the browser, and then your collectors can then sign in, and that's what Lacey is going to do now and proceed on.
So TxtaCheck really acts as a virtual terminal. If you're familiar with this, it's a secure hosted environment where you can initiate the payments and the transactions from. It is outside of the collect system, but fairly simply, the agent can click the link. They'll be able to log in. Up on the menu bar, there's an option for payments, and we will come in and click Create New Payment. This is that virtual terminal screen where we're then going to take the consumer's information and enter it for the payment purposes. So I'll go ahead, I'll use Rod's name here. Oops, sorry. Oh, it is Kennedy, but I did spell it wrong. And he's on 123 Main Street, Millville. All right, cell phone, I'm going to go ahead and put my cell phone number in here. I don't want any midnight phone calls, please. And I'll use my email address as well. So the page is set up. We can just tab through pretty quickly through these fields. We're going to select the payment amount. Let's say it's a $206 payment. The routing number, hang on real quick while I look this up. It will require an actual routing number. I apologize, I did not have this on hand. So this is going to be the consumer's bank account routing number. And it does a really cool thing here. When we enter that routing number in, it's not wanting to let me copy and paste. It will do a quick verification on the bank that routing number belongs to. It must be a valid routing number. Then we're going to enter the consumer's bank account number, and you see automatically the check number field was populated. I want you guys to know that this will never allow the same check number to be used twice for any routing account number combination. So the next time that we come in and Rod's making a payment to me over the phone, this will pre-populate at check number 1002 and so on and so forth. Now the memo line on this, in order for the import-export routine from collect to work properly, this memo line needs to be reflect the account number in the collect system for this consumer. So no number sign, no leaving anything, just the account number here. And that in the reporting will come back to you and allow you to automatically upload this payment file. And there are recurring.
Sorry, Lacey. For our collect users, it's the debtor file number that we're referring to. It's the unique identifier for the debtor file.
The debtor file number, perfect. Now, we have a very robust system to set up recurring payments. We can use this to set up a number of methods. We want to get one signature today, right now, that can be used through all of the additional check payments in the payment plan. Do we want to make them sign every time a check payment is due, or scheduled where they'll get a text and an actual prompt to go ahead and really kind of make the payment every time there's a payment due. So I'm going to, simplicity's sake, one-time payment. And here on the screen, it'll just come back in where we can go ahead and create a new payment and just continue to accept payments throughout the day. Now, what you'll know, almost instantly, I get a text message here, and it says, Rod, click here to make your payment. But you'll be able to see and track the status throughout this payment cycle. We can view the details until we get a confirmation displayed from the consumer. Now, we have a little video that will walk you through that shows the consumer experience. This is the text message that a consumer may receive. We can customize all the language here so that maybe your business name is there. Maybe you were a little bit more explicit. Maybe you want the mini Miranda on that text message to come out, whatever it is. They'll click that. They'll be asked to verify their identity by providing, in this instance, account number, and this is going to be the bank account number. Maybe since we're using the memo line for the unique identifier on that client, the collect account number, maybe that's what you want to use to verify the consumer. But at any rate, as long as what they enter matches it, the consumer will be, web browser pops up, they're presented with an image of the check, they are asked to verify the funding information. So make sure everything looks right. We click submit, and the consumer is then prompted to provide a signature. Now, this signature box does require that we fill up so much of the box. What we don't want is people to just mark an X through it or a dash. We want a real signature. So when we always have the people, okay, make sure your collectors tell the consumer that they need to provide a substantial signature. There are terms and conditions. These are entirely customizable. The consumer is asked to check here to agree to the above statement or agree to those terms and conditions, and then they would go ahead and click submit. Now, it's all in real time. It's all hosted on the TxtaCheck servers. So almost simultaneously, we can refresh our screen. We can see the status. We should, well, if we had walked through a live environment, we would see the confirmation displayed. We can drill down to the details on the payment where you have the check image, etc. So you were just paid by a consumer with a true check payment, without waiting for it in the mail, without requiring your consumers to walk in the front door. This is really the first of its kind. And again, I hope you understand the difference between what is a remotely created check paper draft and this TxtaCheck item. It is all in the signature and the authorization. And we have legal white papers you can review and attorney vouchers and verifications that we can talk about. But I think the next piece that's important to show you is from a product perspective is going to be in the reports. You can set up custom reports. On a daily basis, you're going to have one that's generated. We just clicked OK, Rod?
Yeah, this will open the PDF for printing the check.
And this will be a PDF file. We can use this to just go ahead and print out on check stock with Micker ink. And then there's a variety of methods that we can use to get this payment to the bank account. Walk it in the door and deposit it. You can scan it and send it to your bank as an image cash letter. We can clear them for you. You can have your bank clear them for you. There are tons of methods there to get it to the bank. but then there's also this CVS file that we would just click download, again, on a daily basis, and this is what you would bring back into the Collect software to post to your accounts. So Rod, did you want to show that process?
Sure. So the CSV, I've got a sample open here with the information there. So the CSV is very simple, straightforward. From Collect's point of view, on a regular basis, you would download the file, save it to your desktop, bring up the TxtaCheck import map that will be available from our support department, and then just import it in. You can have it run contact plans. It's because it's posting transactions, it will run any of your contact plan transactions or your transaction contact plans. But yeah, so if I go browse all debtors, I'll see the ones that came in. So Kevin Aubin, it will create check payment taken by TxtaCheck. So you'll have a custom transaction type for that. And then that's it. So it's you print the PDF, take it to the bank, and with Collect, you just import the data and it's loaded into your system.
I love it. And I understand, it's so simple. I understand you can do this either manually or set it up with one of your scheduler modules.
The scheduler can automatically run imports, yes. The key thing would be getting the files downloaded, and I don't know if you guys have a process for, and that's a good question, do you guys have a process for automatically downloading the CSVs to our customer servers? If the answer is yes, then yeah, we can schedule all this with the scheduler.
Put us on the spot, man. Depending on the client's infrastructure, we can make that happen. So very cool to know. Okay, well, we are closing in on the 30 minutes that we had set aside here for this presentation. And again, I want to thank each of you for spending the time with us to look at TxtaCheck. Please, my contact information is on the screen. Feel free to reach out. We can do an in-depth demonstration of this if needed. And another thing that we do at EFT Network is we provide consultations on payment compliance, payment processing compliance overall, so feel free to reach out. But we'll stay on the line here for a little bit. It does not look like any of you have asked questions yet, but if you do have any questions, feel free to just type them in that box, shoot them over, and Rod and I will address those as they come in. Again, thank you for your time, and feel free to shoot some questions. We'll stay on here for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
So we got a question from George. How much does it cost? So from the collect side of it, there's no cost for the integration. We'll just load the import map into your system for you. And then with regard to Lacey's side of it, I'll let her answer that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a very good question, of course. And there is a setup fee, but as most payment processing products, there is going to be a per item fee as well. It's not a percentage, it is a flat fee. And it depends, of course, on the monthly volume and how you want to clear those items, if EFT Network clears them for you, if your bank clears them, etc. And so I think the best answer I can give is reach out and we'll talk about some of those variables and figure out a point that works well. Like I said, depending on the volume and the level of integration that you need. And the automatic download of the CVS files, if that's a requirement as well, will all factor into that number.
Okay, I think that's it. We want to thank everybody for joining us and look forward to this partnership.
Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.